Hi friends, we're in the kitchen today and we're making some homemade chili. It is cold outside. I'm in the Chicagoland area and the temperature currently is 20 degrees, but the real feel is like 12 degrees. So this is a good time to make this chili. When I make my chili, I use ground beef. Now you can use turkey or whatever meat that you're comfortable with, lean ground beef or, lean turkey. So this is like a lean ground beef that I'm using. I'm also using this carne asada all-purpose seasoning from Spanglish Asadero. You can find that on my Amazon influencer page, and I'll have the link in the video description. So you can use any type of all-purpose seasoning, but I'm using that one in particular. So the next thing that I'm going to be doing is adding some pot roast that I had cooked previously. However, on my website, I do have the instructions if you want to add like some beef stew meat, if you don't have like any chuck roast or any pot roast that has already been cooked. I made this a few days ago, so I'm just going to add that pot roast to this ground beef mixture. So stirring that all up, and I'm going to get my seasoning combination. So what I'm going to be doing is adding in some W sauce. I'm not even going to try to say it, but you know what it is. It's from Lee & Perrins. The next thing that I'm going to be adding in here is some minced garlic. Now, if you don't have any garlic that's already, like minced, you can get some whole garlic cloves and chop those up and add it to this mixture too. The next thing I'm going to be adding is 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, as well as 1 tablespoon of cumin. Let that simmer a little bit before adding in my diced bell pepper. I'm using some green bell pepper, but you can use orange or red or whatever you have in the kitchen. If you can take jalapeno peppers, if you can take the heat of that, this would also be a good pepper to add in there too. So I have the ingredients to this chili on my website at plussizeinchicago.com, and it explains all the seasoning that I'm adding in there and the amount too. So the next thing I'm adding is some Hershey's cocoa, and this is the unsweetened cocoa. So that's basically just going to balance the acidity. You're not going to be tasting a chocolate flavor, kind of like a mole with, Mexican food. It's just going to balance that acidity. The next thing that I'm adding is 2 packages of Sazon. Now with Sazon, it also doesn't technically add flavor. However, it makes whatever you're cooking that makes that flavor more richer. So I'm adding 2 packages of that. And Sazon is good for if you are making stews or soups, and I figured, hey, why not? Let's add it to this chili too. So after I stir all of that up, I'm going to be adding in my tomato sauce. There's the acidity. So I'm adding in 2 cans of that tomato sauce and 2 cans of this Rotel. I'm also going to be using the Bush's Best chili beans. I'm using the spicy chili sauce beans, and I'm going to also be adding in some kidney beans too. With Bush's, they have like different varieties of their chili beans, so you just want to make sure you get the ones that have the chili sauce. The chili sauce version really has some really good flavor, so I like using that particular brand for my chili beans with the sauce. Now, the best part about making chili is that once you get all the ingredients in there, you don't have to watch it. You can just let your chili simmer on the stove. And I'm going to be simmering this with the top on for about 2.5 to 3 hours. And I have this on the lowest setting possible for my stove. Now, if you don't want to use your Dutch oven and you don't want to cook on the top of the stove, you can also use a crock pot. If you are adding all of these ingredients to your crock pot, you want to have it on the low setting, and you're going to cook it for 6 hours. And of course, again, like I had showed you before, if you're not using like pot roast or chuck roast, you want to at least cook your beef stew meat before you add it to that crock pot. It should be completely cooked. Now, while this chili is simmering on the stove, I'm going to be making me some cornbread. Now my husband, he doesn't really eat too much cornbread, so it's pretty much just going to be me. So I use the Jiffy Mix cornbread, so nothing special here. I like Jiffy Mix specifically for eating it as cornbread. I do not like Jiffy Mix cornbread in my dressing. So don't ever show me any dressing being made with Jiffy Mix. It just pisses me off. So I'm following the instructions that's on the Jiffy Mix box, and I'm using 1 large egg. I'm also using 1/3 cup of milk, and I'm adding 1 box of this Jiffy Mix. To make my cornbread a little bit more moist when I'm baking it, what I do is add in some olive oil to the mixture. So after I get all of this stirred up, I'm going to be adding in approximately like 2 tablespoons of olive oil. I use olive oil in a lot of things that I cook. You know, even if I add butter, I'm going to be adding olive oil to it, just to keep it from burning. But that's what I like to do when I'm making my food, is using olive oil. So after I get that poured into the mixture, I'm just going to stir this up some more. If you notice, I'm also using a spatula. I just like using spatulas when it comes down to mixtures like this. It just makes it so much easier to stir, as well as to add it to whatever baking pan that you're using. So I'm spraying my cake pan with some olive oil, and I'm just going to pour this cornbread mixture into that. So see, like, it's just so much easier just to scrape it as you're pouring it out. Using a spoon is cool too, but it seems like if you're using a spatula, it just makes things just a little bit more easier. So again, following the instructions that's on the Jiffy Mix box, and I'm going to bake that. This is going to cook, I want to say approximately like 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes tops. Take it out, and then I'm going to, once it's finished baking and browning, I'm going to add some butter on top of the cornbread. So adding this to a cooling rack, and then just spreading that butter on top of it. So yeah, so this is, you might as well say this is my cornbread, because again, like the hubby, when he eats his chili, he's eating it with either some tortilla chips or he's eating it with some crackers, and he's good to go. So yeah, so cornbread is done, chili is done. It looks delicious, and I can actually remember how it smelled. So I'm actually, the smell-o-vision for me is smell-o-vision. So yeah, with chili, you can top it with whatever ingredients that you like. I usually top it with some cheese, as well as some diced green onions. I also like to add like some sour cream on there too. So, you know, you really can do whatever you want when it comes down to chili. So everyone, I really hope that you liked what I cooked in the kitchen today, and I'll see you guys next time. So friends, if you're watching this on YouTube, TikTok, or Instagram, shout out to everyone who has subscribed to my channel, or maybe you're following me on one of those social media platforms. Thank you so much for coming back and cooking with me again. If you are new here, my name is Angela, and this is my account Plus Size in Chicago, where I make a lot of easy to cook comfort food meals. You'll also see me reviewing different restaurants in the greater Chicagoland area, or maybe showing you some places I ate while on vacation. Be sure to subscribe or follow me. Also leave a comment and share this video with your friends and family. I'll see you guys next time.